Hey guys, in this video we have Dr. Lakshman with us. Dr. Lakshman has a quite of good experience in research and innovation field with 5 US patents around artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer vision, and all, and 4,000 plus citations, which is like a dream of every scientist, researcher, and that is great. So, in this video, we will be taking some guidance and the experience of him, and we'll be sharing some tips around AI and what his opinions on these tools that we are seeing on the market and how it will have impact on our lives. So we will be talking all about all the things related to vibe coding, how it is replacing humans, how it is making humans more effective, or will it take jobs of humans, or will it increase the scope of the getting our jobs and improve the productivity. So this will be all related to AI, machine learning, and computer vision, and in the possibilities that we have in upcoming future. So welcome to this video on AI Gurukul, where we talk about AI, large language models, and these kind of stuff. So if you are interested in that, do subscribe to this channel. So we try to keep bringing these kind of hot topics on AI and related stuff. So yes, sir, please. Uh,
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Shitanshu.
yes, sure. You can tell about your experience in this field, like of AI and doing exploring things around research, and what do you think about this trend of vibe coding and all, like where people are interacting with these software like Cursor, Windsurf, and building these products out of themselves and exploring this.
Sure. We are living in great times, very interesting times. A lot of people are saying that this is one of the great, I think, times since say the time of the internet, or even the time of say steam engines, right? Like when which disrupted things so on. So if you actually look at some of the great technologies that have come out, there are things like electricity, there are things like steam engine, then the computer, the internet, and maybe the iPhone also, smartphones also, right? And whereas a lot of people think that the current AI revolution that's happening, this is really big, and then maybe I'm part of the few of these big time changing moments, kind of. And the interesting part of this is that we are just scratching the surface now, which is not, it's going to stay for quite some time. It's not like we are just discovering what is happening, and it's going to basically impact, well, not just our lives, but probably even generations of life together, right? So,
Yeah, it has just like the open the doors, and like very huge possibilities are there, like in content creation and software itself. Like there are endless possibilities that we are seeing. Like the productivity of each software developer is increased by 10x. Like the time that the software developer used to build a software has reduced significantly. So also that is directly proportional to uh all the products that are built and everything.
yeah, that's a very interesting point that you mentioned. Since you mentioned software, right, what strikes me now is that, see, that a lot of people have been talking about this, even big people like CEOs and so on. But the entire software packaging is going to change. Like Andre Karpathy recently had said this is going to be software 3.0. And Satya Nadella, like this, the CEO of Microsoft, said SaaS is going to go through a big change. Or sometimes he was also saying SaaS is dead or something like that, right? And it's really, these are profound statements, not just to be taken with a grain of salt, because it's like, and what very logical also, like the current ecosystem is such that it's kind of, you have some software, you have some backend, where these functions, APIs and all are called, and then you have a front end which kind of which is exposed to user and so on, right? And imagine with these AI agents, what we're really talking about. Say you don't need any of these. You don't need these back end, front end, as in the way in the which they are right now today. And you just have access to all of these functions, right? Access to all of these calls. And the agent just calls them. It kind of does the job. And then it kind of just after once the job is over, that's it. You're kind of doing something else. It's no longer there. So the whole part of the storage of these infrastructure and the core everything is going to it may go through a big chain, and MCPs like the model context protocols are also ways of getting around these things, right? Like you can if you package your whole the agents and the functions in an MCP like robocall, you can just call the MCP from right from your terminal and other places, and it'll which it's actually this is like showing what Satya Nadella was actually talking about, right? I saw one demo where they will just call and text to image generator from the code editor itself, using from an MCP hosted in some Gradio or some place like that. Gradio had I think Face Gradio has an MCP hackathon like this couple of weeks back, and from the code editor they will just call an MCP which will generate an image, given a text, right? Given a text prompt. So I didn't have to. You don't have to go to say like a website like a ChatGPT or some place and then give ask it to generate an image for a text prompt. You also did not have to install any of the software in your machine, right? None of it. It's not like you are installing the diffusers pipeline in your machine or so on. We just said this is the prompt. I'm calling the MCP server. It takes the prompt. It takes the text prompt. It does the computation there. It gives you back the generated image as a result. And the power of this is just a very very basic example. But when these kind of things get propagated in so much of software and so much of development like online programming and so on, this can have a huge impact. And like I said, people are already working on it, and they're trying to see how this can be impacted. So definitely these are very very interesting times to see what's going to happen.
Yes, like the entry barrier for the new developers is also have been reduced significantly, as you tell as you told. Like we don't need to set up any softwares on our local system. Like earlier, we used to install Python, idle, and the VS Code, multiple other compilers, and all those software databases, and then set up in our local system. And that usually takes like for a month for a beginner to set up and all those. So okay, and if he can go through that step, then only he will be able to the learn. He will get to the learning process.
Oh yeah, so yeah, boy, yeah.
Yeah, but now like it is like kind of you have a complete build agent or something that you can just tell in the natural language, like as we're talking, and it can understand like what we are trying to say and build a software around it.
Yeah, and here's where the interesting part is, right? This can actually be done in different layers. Also, I myself have been trying it out, and I have loved the experience of this, right? So there are three things here. One is pure vibe coding without any you're just having fun. You're just eating some popcorns or just like thing. You send a prompt and ask it to do something. You wait for some time. It comes back and gives you a result. You're not going to do anything else. This is a classic vibe coding that Andre Karpathy was saying, right? And that is one layer, which is definitely nice to have. Just see what's going on till you iterate until you are satisfied with what it's coming out, right? So that is one way of doing this. The other way of doing things, no, is the second part, the segment, the number two is what we just mentioned, right? So yeah, I do the second part also at times, which is I have Python, I know a little bit of Python and I know all these things, right? I do the second vibe coding, which is I ask the the software, the LLMs or the AI to give me the code, and I have my own Python environment, and then it gives me the code, but I execute it myself, right? I've set up all those things that you mentioned.
And also the best case that we should know how our code is working so that when we need we can modify it as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's a great way. So this in this way, no? This gives you a nicer experience, meaning that okay, this gives you a different kind of experience wherein okay, you know that okay, you are a little bit in control and you are just like using it. So you feel like okay, it's not everything is not just AI doing things.
Yeah, you know how actually things are working and
Absolutely.
which block does what.
Yeah. And then there's a third part which I feel is very interesting. The third part, right? The third part is that so you mentioned no the third part of vibe coding. This where actually I see a lot of possibilities and power like oh good thing is that so the second part I mentioned that I know how to set these things up, all this Python and all the virtual environments, all the libraries and all of these things. I knew how to set these things up, and then I only ask for the code, I run it, and so on. Right? The third part is in between. Say I don't know how to set these things up, but AI is also guiding me to which steps and what to click and how to dialog box and what. And also it is telling me, okay, install these packages, install these libraries, and install the set up this virtual MRI. So that gives you, it's actually you're like learning with AI. It's like you're learning this software, like how to do with AI and so on. And you can go in different levels, right? You can also so the many what how it has helped me is that I usually take some of these GitHub repositories. And most of the times these GitHub repositories, the code is so not that easy to understand. It's like you just run it and if it works, it works. So now I can I can tell the AI to okay, and I'm installing this GitHub repository. This is the error I'm getting. Can you fix this? So many times I'm actually able to make the GitHub repositories run. That is a huge thing for me.
Yes, because you may say you give up. Because even if you are watching YouTube tutorials, yes, in the YouTube tutorial it will be ideal case, like when you are doing everything. But when practical we are working, like we will get hundreds of error, and even searching on then Google is not like it's like a mind-boggling kind of thing. But the chat GPT just to copy paste and it will give you exact answers. That is quite a help. Like in my initial days when I used to learn Python, so there was a kind of a pip where you have to click on the checkbox, and if you haven't clicked on that checkbox, it will take a lot of time to resolve the errors and all this. Absolutely. But now with the LLM, you will just tell that this is error is coming, and it will know what wrong you have. This was done.
So yeah, so this is a great way to learn from the six. It's also like it's like almost like a coding tutor with one of you. And the best part is that you can go at different levels. So say it's like at the first level you are learning how to make a GitHub repository run, and at the second level you are like kind of okay, you follow those steps and you add it back. Now you can also ask the LLM to say, okay, can you document all of the things which I do? Because most of the time we are like, okay, I don't know, I don't even want to know how I got here because it was so complex. So can you just document what all we've done so far? So they're going to give you a nice documentation and prepare if others need. And then even the better thing is now you once you reach to your setup this code, right? You can also say, okay, I would like to know more about the codes and the things inside here, right? All the different functions and different. Can you break this up into different components and help me understand what this does?
And how I can improve this, what feature can I get into it. I'm still, if I have something in my brain, like an idea that I want to implement, how can I approach it?
Absolutely. So these are the things which we previously would not even want to go in that direction. It's like, okay, things work, okay, I'm getting out of that topic. But now it opens up those avenues to kind of go and explore things, and it's like it's possibility of gaining knowledge and gaining things, experience through it is like humongous. So really like thing. And you can even go to different data. Say, okay, how did they put which functions did they use? Did they use a functional way or did they use an object oriented way? Would a functional way be better here instead of if I change it to a function? If they use Gladio means instead of Gladio, can I use Streamlit? So I myself have tried that. Sometimes
Yeah, you can. This is in Python. I got this code in C language.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So many of those things, right, have opened up now, which we previously, it's just that we have to, you have to be open to kind of exploring those and opening that up. And it's like, and imagine what all this could do, right? You're doing this whole thing. You can document all of these experiences. You can document all of this as a video also. You have this concept called, which I usually call in my thing, I'll call this Nano AI apps, right? You start off with the concept, you start off with the content. This is going to, from this, you can create, say, a blog post. You can create a release notes. You can create a LinkedIn article. You can create a Twitter thread or X thread. And you can create a Medium blog. You can create a YouTube video. So this is like a circular thing, and from this, like an explosion of content, like kind of which are useful also. These are just content just for the sake of daily content, but content which going to be extremely useful, and that's those are the best ways.
Yes, but this is also a good question, like whether actually light is not coming. Yes. Yeah, but this is also a question like whether this AI will be able to replace the software developers completely, because that is what people are scared of. Means it is beneficial for them to learn these technologies like Python and all these, or will completely AI will be doing in next few months or weeks.
So I personally see that there definitely be a disruption, because the way what's happening is that the way we are used to these like projects, right? Like that's how we used to. There'll be a team, and there'll be like a back-end engineer, front-end engineer. There's going to be like a cloud, maybe deployment engineer, so on, all of this UI and all of those things, right? Now the fact is that AI will be able to do many of these in a simpler way. So what will happen is, what took a person X, say a project, say 1 month, is going to take maybe 2 weeks or less, like kind of. So what you will do is, it's not like the other 2 weeks you will just be happily sitting and enjoying, right? What you'll do is, we'll have another project for 2 weeks. So what, like, and then this one reduce. The 2 weeks will become 1 week. So whatever, so if somebody had like 4 projects, I mean only one project, eventually they'll have 2 projects in there. Eventually they'll have to manage 4 projects. This risk going to increase. So what in turn will happen is that the other half more who are managing, well, they will not have much work to do, right? So their work will get disrupted in this way, right? So this will I think, I personally think this is definitely going to happen, because a lot of people are already spoken very clearly. It's like not even then. But what usually this, I mean, so there will be a loss of all this. I mean, the loss of jobs disruption, that will definitely be there, and there is very difficult to avoid, or very difficult to kind of very difficult to even safeguard yourself, because these are also decided by an algorithm, right? Like we keep seeing uh, news articles wherein very experienced people also like, well, kind of it's very difficult how it picks, like kind of and so. But what we must be open to is, I feel, is that we should be open to things that can come out eventually out of these things, right? So this will not be in a regular job, not from a regular company. This could be like, say, personal branding, having like content, and things like that. These it's so it's like everybody. It's like, so let's put it this way. Before stock markets came, right? Stocks, mutual funds, equity, and all came, right? Like say 50 years down the line, like I don't know how many when exactly, but many years down the line, most people used to have their money either in their own hands or in their bank at the maximum recurring deposits or fixed deposits or something like that, way. That's how people used to do. People started investing in other like avenues, like stocks, bonds, all of those, such, just only because you had these extra ways of buying things, right? You could, so let's treat, let me put it this way. It's a very I don't know if it's a great analogy, but that just has occurred to me, sir. Let's treat ourselves working in a company. We are working for a company and in one or organization or someplace, right? That's like having your fixed deposit in a bank, or having your money in the bank, right? That's going to give you like a fixed revenue. And what all you put it out of stocks and bonds and mutual funds and all of those things, right? Those are your extra revenue that's coming out despite these things. So this, so I see that the current streams of generating, like how this is said, which you are just a company job will not, may not be enough. You may need some other sources of things, be like branding, content, and
Yes, like it will make like humans more productive. So that's what they can, with their main job, they can work on different side projects. Yes, and all those things. And also, like in a way, it is kind of democratizing coding as well. Like as you told, like earlier, like stock market and investing was very domain specific. If you have expertise, then only you will be able to invest or something. But now using this stock broker tools, anyone can just invest on the stocks, right? So it will be very democratized. Like even a layman person can write their code, bring their ideas into reality, and can build their softwares. Yeah, that is what like very interesting to see. Like, but again, like there the more possibilities will open. Like now imagine like any person can bring his ideas into reality software. If that software works, it will scale up. And then to maintain the deck scalability, there will be more people required.
excellent. That's an excellent point. Yeah, there's going to be a disruption in that way, right? Definitely, for sure. And then now that it just occurred to me that what you mentioned right now, So stay just and coming back to the stocks analogy, right? So you can invest few as an individual. You may invest in some stocks. It may go up, right? And or it may go down also. You may lose also. So think of these apps that you create for your own and putting it up in the marketplace. Think of those like stocks. So you are instead of just like how you invest in stocks, you can create these apps, put it up in the marketplace. Please Play Store, all the different SaaS apps. Like there are so many of these. You can have these replicas, agents have so many of these. Put it up and also the App Store and Play Store and put it up in the marketplace. And if it's, I mean, if it's really useful, then a lot of people will buy and you to go for a hit, right? Just like how we are stocks, we go for a thing. If not, you just stay there. Or if you're paying for those marketplace, you'll get a negative 10 maybe. So that's the interesting analogy that after listening to your thing that just came. But
Yeah, so that can be a possibility where it will open the doors for more jobs, more exciting things. Yes, and it will eventually make our life easier. Yeah, well, basically, we are wasting our time, suppose, say, on doing something that we don't want. So, a guy with a just came with a random idea can put that idea into app and then publish into Play Store from where we can use it. So, that idea to marketing that product up so will reduce a significant scope.
and that's where the content part also is very important, right? Because you may have an idea, you may have put it up in the marketplace, but unless mark the app store or something like that, but you may also have to create content in order to market and then make this the thing known to a lot of people, reach out to a lot of people. But there also AI is going to come in. Content creation is one of the biggest areas that huge because it's going to be a circle. It's like AI is going to be able to create content, and that content in turn will reach people, which again will kind of make you create more AI tools, more on
Yeah, but AI will be help you to market the product that is built by AI. So that's a great. It is very nice.
And vibe coding we talk about. Also, vibe coding is an amazing thing that I think it's going to happen. We are just barely scratching the surface now, just the initial. So, but again, I would like to think of vibe coding in this way. During the early days of internet, right? What we had was we had these websites, web pages like GeoCities and so many other web pages we have, wherein if you had some amount of HTML knowledge, web programming knowledge, you could create some funny looking websites and like nice home pages and so on, and publish them in the internet. Right, it was a nice feeling back then. It should be exciting to go and publish them at that point in time. But it still needed some amount of programming knowledge, right? Like little bit, not so much, but little bit at first. And how to use the computers also. That time computers are also kind of similar. And eventually, this part all reduced, right? In the sense that you had these plug and play modules, plug and play templates, which allows you to create, like say, WordPress websites or other kinds of say GoDaddy and Wix, and all of them used to have their own like nice templates where you can just say, okay, this is where I want to have my title, this is where I want to have all my tabs side and all of these web pages and so on, right?
And interestingly, that created a huge market like for softwares, marketing their products, and even content creation, or content creation and building product and taking their product from local to global, as our PM Modi directly says, that you can build your product like produce and export it to other cities, countries. So and that we are seeing like in AI as well.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so what even now today we are seeing like so many international things coming from all parts of the world, right? That's we are seeing, especially India also. So many of the really lots of interesting startups that are coming out in the AI are by Indians either from India or outside of India, but most of these are. And so the interesting part is that vibe coding is the analogy I think of is very similar, right? Initially, if you had some amount of programming knowledge, it's good, and you can just prompt what you want, and you will get what you want, right? Eventually, that layer is also going to go off. Wherein just like how people used to create WordPress and blogs just out of just content, no? That's what's going to eventually could happen. They may have, this is what I want to do, and this is what, and you'll have these plug and play modules. They're already there. Some of them are already there right now. And this is going to create huge things because the middleman is kind of removed. The middleman being the software developer or the software developer. So it's like democratizing the whole way. So today we can go to Replit and I can say I want to create an app. If I'm a lawyer or a judge or the legal thing, right? You go to Replit and say I want to create an app which will take a legal judgment, legal case, and build a mind map out of it and create the timeline for it. And without any knowledge of how to do this into now, Replit is just going to create an amazing app where I can input a legal case judgment as a PDF, and it's going to give me like a mind map and a timeline for that period. So in this way, I myself tried it and it was pretty amazing. In this way, this is just one small example, and you can think of so many
things out there. The possibilities are endless. Like in every field, I am seeing like their LLM and all those can be applied. Like LLM can be a wrapper around whatever product you're building so that it can be more user friendly to the customer. So it has endless possibilities there.
and creativity also. So you need not just have a lot of people are missing out on the creativity aspect of things. Is that many times you may just think having very less creative things also is good. It's very minimalistic things and so on. But as humans know, we are human beings are creative people. Right? We like to create, we like to, whether it's a very basic hand-drawn drawing or whether it's like how you put dressing on your food and then so on. We like to create a lot of, be very creative and put a lot of things on our things. Right? Previously, since nobody was doing it, Google's homepage was just Google's homepage. It's just a plain screen with one white screen with just a bar, right? But we, if the creative parts can now be unleashed, why not? Like people would want to kind of think on those lines, right? Like it may slowly happen. It may not happen over day or overnight. But if we slowly happen, like a lot of creative things may also come in.
So having that conversation was great, like about vibe coding and how AI is helping build softwares was great. But what I feel is the LLMs, the large language models, the generative AI is very helpful in education also. Like where we can help students in the remote areas with their learnings. Since don't have the access to resources, the AI can help them as well. What are your take on that, sir?
Yeah, that's one of the very like a profound and impactful areas of AI, right? And LLMs, because say if you have people in areas where they don't have access to like high quality education, these uh, LLMs, AI, and tools that are being built on top of AI can actually have a profound impact there. Because let me give you an example. Say you are in like a remote area, and say you either you don't have access to the best teachers, or you don't have. You say you are one of the first in your generations to actually go to schools. You don't have inside at your home also get access to say like helping or so on. No? So AI can be a great tutor which can actually help in resolving your problems. And this can be in different ways, right? One is just a simple personal tutor, but that is only like that is also good. Just a basic simple tutor is like saying wherein, okay, I don't understand this concept, can you help me? And then you constantly keep, it's like asking and then you help out of it, right? That is one way of doing this. And then you can also do it in local languages. That's a huge, lots of, in India, lots of AI startups and AI kind of apps are being built in a local language so that people in the remote areas, they can talk in their own language. And that's, if an AI is able to explain concepts in the language, no, it's a huge opportunity there. If an AI startup or AI app building that, a huge opportunity, both from an opportunities perspective, but creating a great impact perspective, right? What you do have could have a substantial impact. Like that's very useful. And the third part is that these self-learning AIs, right? So self-learning AIs are going to be that conceptually they are going to be, say, each you can have a general purpose AI, but then you can have this AI. It's going to give different students different ways of explaining things, because some students may be good in maths, and some student may be good in, says, English or other languages and so on. No, so you can have this AI which will say iteratively, just like how we do vibe coding, right? They can be a vibe learning.
Yeah, I mean, each student have a different level. So look, and they have a different expertise. Like some are good at math and some are good at science. Yeah. And also they have kind of a level of learning and the pace of learning, and a good technique means some prefer to learn via videos. Some try to learn by interacting through like discussions. Yes, yes. So this LLM can be very play a good role there as well. Like by asking questions, identifying the learner's level, yes, and adjusting based on that.
Yes. And this is where applications and apps and other things are needed, no? The basic LLM at today is going to go a good job as a surface. But if we can build some things on top of that, it's going to be not going to be one unique thing, but a series of things on top of that, no? It can have a huge impact. Like say if there's a maths kind of a thing, something in trigonometry or something, no? It's going to explain, okay, this is how you kind of draw a triangle, and this is if you add these things up, you can keep giving, it can keep giving more and more and more till the student actually understands in a very nice way that you're not going to forget, and that these things, right? When you're doing these things interactively, definitely your memory also is very good, and you do that, right? As opposed to a classroom wherein you just have.
Yes, and it can even like generate personalized examples as well. Like for your specific use case, like suppose say there's a child who is living in a remote area of Uttarakhand maybe, so it will give you example based on that culture. Absolutely. Right. For suppose like how they behave and how they deal with their lives. So it can give examples curated from there and tell like how this concept can be applied there. So it can be a very amazing applied and related thing or applied study as well.
That's a very interesting point. I remember something from my own thing, right? It's a very thing that you just remembered. So when I went to the US, and there you people used to explain simple concepts, no? The one professor used to explain like how can you, like, this was pattern recognition class. So I can think of like, okay, how can you if there is in a cart there are apples. The question was like, how can you build a model to like the recognize apples, no, something like that, right? But what he did was, I think in that local area, instead of apples, apples are also famous. Uh, Avocados were famous, and for me, who's going to that area for the first time, have no idea what is an avocado. So it was very funny for me to actually
Relate all
always
things.
realize what it is. And in in machine learning and computer vision and image processing and all, there is this thing called Earth movers distance. Basically, to matching like distributions and histograms and all, there is something called EMD, Earth movers distance. And maybe they thought if you name it as Earth movers distance, is a very intuitive way of doing this, because so for me, I did not know what an earth mover is, right? Basically, like earth mover is like, you have that big in construction areas and all more. You have that tractor like thing which will take it will take like,
Maintain.
yeah, it will take the earth, the one like we go and dig the earth. It will take here, from here it will put it there. Okay. So the earth mover's distance is like to match two distributions, how much of this pile of thing, this content you want to distribute from here this here. Well, so whoever came out with this thought that this was a very intuitive way, because everybody knows what an earth mover is, and they will understand that, okay, when you do this through from here to here, it is a very great way. But for me, for a person who does not have any idea what is an earth mover, like maybe I knew the different name, like how in India we have we call JCPs for other things, right? And so this it took me a while to kind of this cultural things, right? These are the cultural things that you just mentioned. Maybe in like place like Uttarakhand or other places, if they explain it in a different way, no, instead of earth movers, you say, okay, take a pile of a thing, move it from here to here, or like a sand castle you're building, from take some sand, put it here so that you get some things. So things like that would just one size fits all. So one size fits all. You have a both cultural and nuanced way approach of doing things. That would make a nice way of this. And AI can play a big role here because people, professors and teachers, they would usually just say, "This is the textbook. It says Earth moves distance. I'm also going to borrow this verse."
Yes, and it stays in a brain for a long time. Yeah, BR is, yes, absolutely. Because that thing, that culture thing, has stayed for us like for more than 10 years. So, but if we relate something to it, so again it will have the impact. Like our brain tends to like connect it and just see it like we know it from kind of long time. So that is a kind of a great thing there as well. But again, like the LLM has quite a lot of areas where it can help in education. Like one is like active learning where LLM can talk to you, absolutely talk, ask questions to you, and then understand your level. And then according to that level, it will be answering your question. Absolutely, absolutely. Because there is a vast syllabus, yes, like even from the NCRT class at 10 to 12, like the students have to be restricted on that particular book. Yes. Because and it has to be strictly studying those topics, right? So that can also be a very quite good area where LLM is giving you the example
Absolutely.
based on those topics.
Yes. Yeah. So this is where like a lot of applications are possible. We'll have to build those and a lot of impactful also. So the
Yes, like that is where like these are product like where we are trying to build and help students to interact with these LLMs, these generative AI tools using with their so that it can be helpful for their studies, for their day-to-day studies. Like they can just just submit their, just upload their PDF books, materials, and they can interact with that LLM, interact with that platform. Basically it will ask you questions, understand your level, and based on that it will help in your studies. So that is where instructor can also be take a benefit of it. Like it can take the interaction of the student of the in that platform and see like how helpful it is for the student, and in which area the student is having more of the doubts, more of the questions, and then reframe his teaching pattern, and it will be helpful for both instructor as well as the student.
absolutely. That's very nice that you built this great tool, the VidyaRang, and then definitely this could have a lot of impact, and then we could help a lot of students, instructors, and then create this a new paradigm of how uh, courses and subjects and the teaching can be done itself. That's a great way of doing it.
Yeah. It will not be replacing teachers, but it will be like a kind of a human AI collaboration where teachers are utilizing these AI capabilities to enhance their teaching methods and understand learners' mindset well and learners' weak areas as well, so that AI and human can collaboratively work together to enhance the education.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really amazing that we're like trying to do something at the grassroots level, and then hoping like for the big uh like creating a new, which is helpful for a different like students, teachers, and the ecosystem also. No, like if it works, just like we see, no, farming, no, if it helpful in one area for farmers, it can help in go to the other states. They can also like basically use some of those learnings and then try it on their own blog. So the same way is these are things which can propagate. This can like go in a big way, like small it can expand, and then it's like only going to expand, right? It cannot vary. It's like how Vidya you had heard, no, it can only expand, like Vidya Danam, like you had heard, no. So it can only like you only expand that part. You can never go down. The same way is definitely has.
Yes, and also interestingly, it is not only helpful for students because like even we us also like after graduating and all those things, still we have to keep up with the studies and we have to keep up with the all the updates, all the things that are coming in the market, all the new concepts and all. So studying is not just till the class 12th or till our graduation. It's a lifetime kind of thing where we learn new things. And but it is not possible to read the books and watch the videos. So it can be very helpful as well to keep us updated by just interacting with the bots even with the voice. Yeah, so like it was a great discussion from starting from vibe coding and discussing through all the way through how AI is kind of helping humans. Not, we will not say replacing humans, but it is kind of uh, collaboratively working together to make humans more productive. And then we discussed about like the how AI is helpful in education, to provide education to the remotest area where the student have or don't have the resources to buy books and access to expert teacher on that subject matter, where AI will be very helpful. So your experience and all those the things that you shared were very really very helpful.
So thanks again for having me, and it was a really amazing discussion that I enjoyed as well. And you created definitely created a lot of, I mean, like a amazing app for like VidyaRang and many other applications. And AI Gurukul is also doing a wonderful grassroots level kind of uh, change.
Which is definitely all the credit goes to AI Gurukul, from where I learned all these things. And it encouraged to develop all these products absolute to help in the betterment of the society and all this. Like, so that's what we are trying to focus to make, is to make the people aware around AI and other stuff, so that they have the idea what actually it feels like to use AI and build products around AIs. Yeah. So thank you, sir, for this great discussion again. Thanks again. Yeah, hope that, yeah, that's you.